Good morning. Good morning, loves. Welcome to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. This is the channel where we look at the new releases each week, each genre, um, so we know what's out there. Today is Tuesday, October 10th, and we're getting close to halfway through October already. Isn't that crazy? Good morning, Mary. Happy Tuesday. Coffee sure tastes good this morning. Oh, indeed. Slow going. How are you feeling? How's your cold? Are you getting better? Love the October graphic. I just like pretty things, but thank you. Let's see. Announcements. We do have sprints tonight on this channel at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern Time. We'll be going for 2.5 hours. So bring your own book, work on a craft or hobby, or if you just want to meditate and listen to the nice sounds, that's okay too. I will be working on some crochet and hopefully listening to an audiobook. I'm not quite in a slump, but it's verging. We will see. Maybe we'll get some inspiration in the new releases. Let me get rid of this banner. And let's go here. We're doing mysteries today. And this site is booktipper.com. Starting with Bloodlines by Nelson DeMille, a big name, and Alex DeMille, I'm assuming is a child. We won't assume this is a son because Alex could be a female name. Features the return of Army CID special agents Brody and Taylor, who are on the hunt for the cold-blooded murderer of one of their fellow agents. Army Criminal Investigation agents Scott Brody and Maggie Taylor have been separated for 5 months following their last assignment, a dangerous mission in Venezuela to locate and detain an infamous Army deserter. Now in Berlin, they are reunited and tasked with investigating the murder of one of their own. CID Special Agent Harry Vance of the 5th MP Battalion, an accomplished counterterrorism agent who had been stationed in Western Germany and whose body was discovered in a city park in the heart of Berlin's Arab refugee community. The authorities suspect this is an act of Islamic terrorism, but Brody and Taylor soon believe there is more to this case. The reason for Vance's presence in Berlin is unknown, and as Brody and Taylor work to discover what the murder victim was doing in the days and weeks preceding his death, they become immersed in the many conflicts and contradictions of modern Germany, the Arab refugee crisis, the dark legacy of the Cold War, and the Stasi secret police, and the imminent threats of rising neo-Nazi movement. At the same time, they are butting heads with the authorities, both German and American, and facing a possible threat from American intelligence agents who fear that Brody and Taylor might have learned too much about U.S. clandestine operations during their mission in Venezuela. Ultimately, Brody and Taylor realized that the murder of Harry Vance was merely the prelude to a much more sinister future event unless they can unravel the mystery in time to stop it. You know me and Spy vs. Spy, that sounds really good to me. But it sounds like you need to read the prior book to find out what's happening in Venezuela. Lily is beginning to come down like in your picture. Isn't that the best time? Suddenly there's leaves on the ground when you walk. I love that. The Leftover Woman by Jean Kwok. Evocative family drama and a riveting mystery about the ferocious pull of motherhood for two very different women. Lots of blurby things here. Jasmine Yang arrives in New York City from her rural Chinese village without money or family support, fleeing a controlling husband on a desperate search for the daughter who was taken from her at birth, another female casualty of China's controversial one-child policy. But with her husband on her trail, the clock is ticking, and she's forced to take increasingly risky decisions if she ever hopes to be reunited with her daughter. Meanwhile, publishing executive Rebecca Whitney seems to have it all: a prestigious family name and the wealth that comes with it, a high-powered career, a beautiful home, a handsome husband, and an adopted Chinese daughter she adores. She even hired a nanny to help her balance the demands of being a working wife and mother. But when an industry scandal threatens to jeopardize not only Rebecca's job, but her marriage, this perfect world begins to crumble, and her role in her own family is called into question. The Leftover One finds these two unforgettable women on a shocking collision course. Twisting and suspenseful and surprisingly poignant, it's a profound exploration of identity and belonging, motherhood and family. It's a story of two women in a divided city, separated by severe economic and cultural differences, yet bound by a deeply emotional connection to the child. Not my cup of tea, but if that is yours, you can check that out. It is a good cover. I have a hard time with domestic thriller thingies. Well, it's not really a thriller, but it's not really, we didn't talk about a body or anything, so I'm not sure why they're calling it a mystery. Good morning, Danielle. Welcome. Hope you're having a good morning. Hope you have a cup of coffee. Speaking of which, coffee's required. I'm not a big fan of pumpkin. Indeed, we are. Um, but giving into the hype, I picked up some pumpkin coffee that I have to get through. That's what I'm having today. Becoming the Bogeyman by Richard Chismar. A much shorter description. That's good. Riveting, haunting sequel to Chasing the Boogeyman, a tale of obsession and adulation of evil, exploring modern society's true crime obsession with unflinching honesty, sparing no one from the glare of the spotlight. Will those involved walk away from the story of a lifetime in order to keep their loved ones safe, or will they once again be drawn into a killer's web? As the story draws to its shattering conclusion, only one person holds all the answers, and he just may be the most terrifying monster of them all. So it sounds like you do have to read the first one prior to this. The Defector by Chris Hadfield. Oh, kind of timely. Israel, October 1973. As the Yom Kippur War flares into life, a state-of-the-art Soviet MiG fighter plane plummets to an unexpected landing. NASA flight controller and former U.S. pilot Kaz Zemeckis watches from the ground, unaware that its arrival will pull him into a high-stakes game of spies, lies, and secrets that hold the key to Cold War air and space supremacy. For within that plane is a Soviet pilot pleading to defect, offering a prize beyond value, the workings of the Soviets' mythical Foxbat MiG-25, the fastest, highest-flying fighter plane in the world. But trusting him is risky, and Kaz must tread a careful line. As Kaz accompanies the defector into the United States to the military's most secret test site, he must hope that with skill and cunning the game plays out his way. Rich with an insider detail and political intrigue drawn from real events, The Defector is a propulsive thriller from a growing master of the genre, filled with the nerve-shredding rush of aerial combat as it can only be told by one of the world's best fighter pilots. Geneva by Richard Armitage, which I believe is the actor. Hi, Annalise. Welcome. Good afternoon to you. IT issues. Hey, all. Oh, no fun. Awesome, awesome. This is by the actor, and it's his debut thriller. Good for him. He does a lot of good audiobook performances, as well as being an actor. Nobel Prize winning scientist Sarah Collier has taken a step back from work to spend more time with her family. Movie nights with her husband Daniel and their daughter Maddie are a welcome respite from the scrutiny of the world's press. As much as it hurts, it's good to be able to see her father more too. He's suffering from Alzheimer's and needs special care. Sarah has started to show telltale signs of the disease too. She's been experiencing blackouts and memory loss. It's early days, but she must face the possibility that she won't be there to see her daughter grow up. Daniel, a neuroscientist himself, is doing his best to be supportive, but she already knows that she will be the strong one for all of them. So when Sarah is invited to be the guest of honor at a prestigious biotech conference in Geneva, she declines, wanting to stay out of the public eye. That is until Daniel shows her the kind of work that the enigmatic Moritz Schiller has been developing. Flown first class to the spectacular Alpine city and housed in a luxury hotel, Sarah and Daniel are thrust back into the spotlight. As they try to shut out the noise of the public media storm, in private, Sarah is struggling with her escalating symptoms, and the true extent of what Schiller has achieved is a revelation. This is technology that could change medicine forever. More than that, it could save Sarah's life. But technology so valuable attracts all kinds of interest. Wealthy investors are circling. Controversial blogger Terry Landau is all over the story, and someone close to Schiller seems bent on taking advantage of the situation for themselves. Sarah feels threatened and does not know who to trust, including herself. Far from bringing her lifeline, Schiller's technology may be her undoing. As events spiral out of control, Sarah and Daniel are faced with the ultimate question: how far would you go for someone you love? That is a good question. Sherlock Holmes and the Highgate Horrors. This is probably more horror, but we'll check it out. By James Lovegrove. It's 1929, and an aging Dr. John Watson, conscious of his imminent demise, finally sits down to write a fresh chronicle disclosing the true events behind his published accounts of Sherlock Holmes' exploits. In these pages, Sherlock Holmes and his stalwart companion encounter reanimated corpses in Highgate Cemetery, a very different, though ever elusive Irene Adler, tales of madness and murder in the frozen wastes of the North, grotesque organic machines, and much more. Each case brings the illustrious pair even ever closer to the dramatic and terrifying truth about the mysterious aliens, the Migo, and their plans for Earth. Okay, it's only here because of Sherlock Holmes. Did you catch the look? That's the librarian look like. Seriously? All right, Stuart Woods and Brett Battle's obsession. Teddy Fay must put all his skills to the test in this electrifying new adventure. While filming on location in scenic Santa Barbara, California, Peter Barrington and Ben Bacchetti look to expand Centurion Studios' business by making a deal with a young Croatian tech billionaire. But when the magnate's wife is kidnapped, Teddy Fay is brought in to assess the threat and recover the young woman. As Teddy unravels the threads of her disappearance, he quickly comes to find an old vendetta seethes at the center, one that puts them all at risk. And danger is lurking ever nearer to home as an obsessive fan with perilous intentions weasels his way onto the film set. It's only Teddy who can stop him from getting too close for comfort. Is it me, or there's a lot of books set in like movie land recently? Ooh. Usually like Stuart Woods. He's a name. Check it out. That's the nice thing I like about, I'm thinking of Amazon because I have a Kindle. Try the sample. You never know. Sometimes the idea sounds good, and then you start to read it and it's just not executed well, or vice versa. It's nice to try. Once you've got that little, hey, that's interesting, then you can check out further. See if it's for you or not. Overdue or Die by Alison Brooke. Carrie Singleton has a wedding to plan, a killer to catch, and a conspiracy to uncover in this charming seventh novel in the Haunted Library Mysteries. Carrie Singleton has more than her fair share on her plate. Her job at the Clover Ridge Library, preparing for her wedding to Dylan Avery, and hoping that the local art gallery doesn't steal away one of her part-time employees. Her fiancé Dylan accompanies her to the beautiful home of Victor Zelinka, art collector and successful businessman, to select paintings for an art show at the library. While Carrie muses that Victor's home would be the perfect wedding venue, Dylan spots a forgery among the paintings in Victor's collection. Then Martha Mallory is found murdered in her art gallery. With the assistance of Evelyn, the library ghost, the resident cat Smokey Joe, and the office manager of Dylan's private investigation company, Carrie comes up with a suspect list long enough to rival the size of an encyclopedia. During her investigation, Carrie stumbles across a terrible truth. Martha's murder was part of something far bigger and more dangerous than she could have ever imagined, and it all leads back to the art gallery. How far will Carrie go to find the killer and uncover the truth? If the killer finds her first, will Carrie finally be taken out of circulation, and how that affect her wedding? We looked at Donna Andrews' Let It Crow, Let It Crow, Let It Crow. All right, that is it for that website. Good morning, Scorpio. Glad you're here. We are looking at mysteries and making snarky comments per usual. All right. This is bookriot.com, and it has three that we didn't talk about, so we will talk about these. Close Enough to Hurt by Catherine A. Olson. Dylan Truman, better known under her alias Lady Justice, is the bane of every grifter, cheater, and bully in the Bay Area. Alongside her best friend and hacktivist Daniel Haas, she works as a revenge-for-hire vigilante, seeking retribution on behalf of her predominantly female clientele. When a prospective client brings up a fraud complaint against pharmaceutical CEO Brent Wilder, Dylan's business becomes personal. Years earlier, Wilder assaulted Dylan's sister and got away with it, and now it's time to make him pay. But she may be doing it alone. Daniel is ready to leave the business and settle down with a stable and safe job. Dylan is devastated. Not only is she losing her partner and one of the most talented digital private investigators in the city, she's beginning to realize her feelings for Daniel are deeper than she thought. But with Brent's increasing paranoia comes life-threatening danger, and Dylan must keep her head in the game. With the clock running out fast, Lady Justice must choose between vengeance at any cost and giving it all up for the man who may actually love her back. Dylan's always tried to protect those she loves by walking her path alone, but perhaps there is another way to ensure justice is served. It's an interesting cover. Bell in the Fog by Lev A.C. Rosen. This dazzling historical mystery, historical. Once you have finally found a family, how far would you go to prove yourself to them? San Francisco, 1952. Detective Evander Andy Mills has started a new life for himself as a private detective, but his business hasn't exactly taken off. It turns out that word spreads fast when you have a bad reputation, and no one in the queer community trusts him enough to ask an ex-cop for help. When James, an old flame from the war who had mysteriously disappeared, arrives in his offices above the Ruby, Andy wants to kick him out. But the job seems to be a simple case of blackmail, and Andy's debts are piling up. He agrees to investigate, despite everything it stirs up. The case will take him back to the shadowy, closeted world of the Navy, and then out in the gay bars of the city, where the past rises up to meet him like the swell of the ocean under a warship. Missing people, violent strangers, and scandalous photos that could destroy lives are a whirlpool around him, and Andy better make sense of it all before someone pulls him under for good. And You'll Always Come Back by Emily Smith. This is a debut suspense that pits the inhabitants of a small town against each other. You gotta have entertainment. Find entertainment where you can. 9 years ago, Julie Weaver's little sister was one of the first victims of the Pacific Lake Killer, a serial killer in Georgia. When other girls began to disappear and were found dead, it was July's, did I say Julie Weaver? July's testimony that put her own father into prison for the crimes. After the sentencing, she fled to Nashville to focus on her music career and to try to forget the horrible past. When her brother tries to kill himself, July is forced to come back home and reunite with her 4 remaining siblings. What she isn't expecting is to uncover new evidence that makes her question everything that happened to her sister 9 years ago. Is it possible that July blamed the wrong person? Is it possible that the Pacific Lake Killer is still out there? As the linchpin to the case against her father and the reason the Pacific Lake Killer case is closed, July knows it isn't long before the killer will set their eyes back on her, if they're really still out there. What intrigues me about that is the element of a cold case. I like cold case things. Okay. We've got some time left. Let's go back to cozies, because there's always cozies. I think we stopped here. Brush up on the murder. Love is in the air in the quiet Los Angeles County city of Vista Beach, home of computer programmer and decorative painting enthusiast Aurora Rory Anderson. As Valentine's Day approaches, residents are training for the annual Love Run and expressing their undying affection for each other by attaching love locks to the pier railings. but a string of bank robberies is ruining the romantic vibe. How dare they? While Rory helps friends prepare for a Valentine's Day wedding, a body is found and the groom is implicated in the murder. Convinced of his innocence, Rory puts her heart into the investigation. Can she identify the killer before someone else encounters their own brush with death? If you want to read seasonally, you should sort of bookmark this one for February if you're doing like a Valentine's Day kind of read. Then I think I'm going to do romantasy kind of books in February. As the Cookie Crumbles. Isn't what they always made fun of soap operas? You know, like As the World Turns, As the Cookie Crumbles. By Amanda Emily. Book 8 in a series, and it's Kindle Unlimited. I like the cover though. I could eat some cookies. Christmas is right around the corner with coffee. Is right around the corner, and Stormy Morgan is ready to celebrate for the first time in years. She's been dreaming of one thing: Shadow Hill's infamous Christmas festival. There's just one problem. When helping her new friend Easton pick out clothes in the thrift store, Stormy discovers the owner is missing. What's worse, it looks as if there was a struggle in the back room. What happened to the married mother of one? Stormy gets her boyfriend Hunter Ryan involved, and they start searching. The only thing they can ascertain with any certainty is that there's a hint of magic pulsing around the town, and maybe it has something to do with the disappearance. Stormy has her hands full with gnome shifters and her old high school nemesis, so a missing persons case isn't something she's looking forward to. She has no choice but to dig, though. Her conscience won't allow the alternative. That's what they all say. Goes back to Cabot Cove. Stormy might be new at the magic contest, but she understands winning. When another person disappears, she realizes she's playing the wrong game. In a world where fire rules, cold is about to claim them all. Can Stormy win? She's about to find out. Come along for the ride. Oh, all right. Everybody remember, this is where we're at. Tomorrow we will be doing romance. And then we'll pick back up on cozies as we have time for. I love the cozy titles. They are always so clever. That is a job in itself, I think. Cookie. So, I thank you guys very much for being here this morning. That went really fast. It always goes fast, but that went really fast. Again, just to recap announcements, there are sprints tonight here on this channel at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. It'll go for 2.5 hours, and bring your own book or work on a project, etc., etc. We'll be doing sprints again on Thursday and then on Saturday afternoon. So every other day, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is when I am on. Let me know what you're reading. I am reading my next in series of Veronica Speedwell. I'm not having any problem with that. The problem I'm having is finding something to listen to on audiobook, which I'm trying to listen to audiobooks because I'm working on the crochet project. So there it is. Thank you. Take care, everyone. You betcha. Thank you, Scorpio. Hope to see several of you at Thunder Horse Descendant a little later. Meanwhile, hope everyone has a great day. Exactly. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Have a good Tuesday. Here in Billings, it's going to be 80. I think it's probably the last nice day because in the next couple days it's starting to go down again. So this was our little bit of second summer. I hope to see you tonight. Take care of yourselves, please. Read good books. Remember, it's okay to set things down if you're not enjoying it. You're not being graded. You're not having to turn in an assignment for the most part. So read fun things. And it says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. I'm not. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.